here we go again. The title of today's dumpster find, much like the last decade, is Left Behind. This 2014 remake stars Chad Michael Murray, Cassi Thomson, Leah Thompson, and of all people, Nicolas Cage. Let this be a lesson to all of you out there. Pay your taxes on time. Left Behind is based on the New York Times best-selling book series by Tim LaHaye and Jerry Jenkins depicting the Christian rapture and the events following the disappearance of all the Christians from Earth. The one review on the back cover is from Willie Robertson of Duck Dynasty. Take from that what you will. I have a feeling this is going to be a long one, folks, so let's waste no more time and jump right into it. Chloe has flown back home to New York for her dad's surprise birthday party, and upon landing, Mom tells Chloe that Dad got called in to pilot a flight to London at the last minute. Well, how convenient for Chloe that she's at the airport as she sets out to find him while Mom reflects on an awkwardly photoshopped picture of the family. Why is Nicolas Cage see-through? Father of the Year, he missed his surprise birthday party and the family photo shoot. While waiting for Dad, Chloe comes across Buck Williams, a famous investigative reporter. Wait, hold on. No offense, investigative reporters out there, but I don't think there really is such a thing as a famous investigative reporter. I mean, I can't think of any. I don't think I can. Does Wolf Blitzer count? Buck Williams is being confronted by a religious woman because apparently that is how good Christians behave in this universe. Chloe leaps to his defense.
The Lord works in mysterious ways, but somehow people keep believing that he loves them. Now that is mysterious.
Because Chloe apparently knows for a fact that nobody loves her. They won't even pick her up from the airport. Dad, meanwhile, takes off his wedding ring before taking, I will point out, absolutely no luggage on a flight to London. I will also point out that this character's name is Rayford Steele. I'm sorry, I don't feel like Nicolas Cage has earned the name Captain Steele, so we're gonna call him Dad the entire time. Buck thanks Chloe for rescuing him from the nutty lady and flirtatiously offers to buy her coffee. With a cutesy smile, she turns him down as she is waiting for her father, seen here flirting with a flight attendant. Awkward! They discuss how Mom is now a religious wacko, as Chloe puts it, and apparently these writers seem to not know the art of subtlety. We get it, this is a religious film and you think atheists have nothing better to do but discuss the crazy Christians. Dad swears he still loves Mom even though she is going through a religious phase, gives his car keys to Chloe so she can use the car while he is gone, and takes off.
We'll talk when I get back.
Not gonna be here when you get back.
How is she supposed to get the keys back to him? Whatever. Buck, meanwhile, was listening in on the conversation.
Investigative journalist. Remember?
How could anyone forget? I mean, you're so famous after all. He sympathizes with Chloe about her mother always talking about God.
Sounds like that's all your mom talks about.
Sounds like that's all anyone in this universe talks about. Dad tells a terrible joke to his flight attendant girlfriend who, by the way, is only hoping to have an affair with him. They haven't actually done anything yet, but don't worry. Once they hit London, they will get down to business. That is to say, they will go to a U2 concert, for which some random airport employee had to get the tickets and proceeds to give them to Chloe to give to her dad. Because everyone at JFK Airport knows every pilot's family, right? It took him 2 weeks to get those tickets, meaning Dad had planned this trip all along. Chloe gives the tickets to Buck Williams because he is actually boarding the flight to London. Dad's girlfriend, meanwhile, has still not grasped the concept of which end of the phone receiver you're supposed to talk into. Damn millennials.
I know you.
Oh, for pity's sake.
Look, George, it's Frank Sinatra.
Right. A few more shots trying to make it look like there are developed characters on this flight, and then we see Chloe return home, where her brother asks if she got him anything at the airport.
The brand new baseball glove that I've been asking for.
Okay, screenwriters, let's talk about unnecessarily clunky exposition. If little Beauregard here, because I don't know or care what this kid's name is supposed to be, had simply pulled the baseball glove out and said, "Wow, thanks, that's awesome," that might have sounded a little more natural and wouldn't have left any of us wondering anything. Pretty sure not one single audience member would have heard that and thought, wait, I'm so confused. Why did she give her little brother a baseball glove? How do we know he wanted one? Did he even ask for such a thing?
Make the words work. Cut, condense, get a clear line.
Good point, but shut up, Pia Zadora. By the way, is there really a store at JFK selling baseball gloves? In case we have not said this enough, Mom is a Christian now.
Can I get you something to drink?
A double whiskey and keep 'em coming. Oh, for her? Oh, I mean, yeah. More pointless scenes attempting character development?
Scotch, please.
Glad I'm not the only one who needs a drink at this point. Cheers, random throwaway character.
I just want you to be ready.
Ready for what?
Why is it that in every Rapture movie, characters are endlessly talking about the Rapture right before it happens? Should I have put a spoiler alert out? Yeah, the Rapture's about to happen. The character played by this guy from Pirates of the Caribbean, in case you were curious, is a dick. I know Nicolas Cage is revered by many, but why does he always look confused? I mean, even in Wicker Man, he seems just the slightest bit baffled by why he's worried about bees getting in his eyes but is screaming with his mouth wide open. So the Rapture happens while Chloe and Beauregard are at the mall, and this causes clothing to fall from the ceiling. Were there Christians hanging from the rafters when they got raptured? Meanwhile, several people on the flight also disappear, including the co-pilot. I hope there weren't any Christians in the lavatory because that's locked from the inside, and it's gonna be a long flight to London with no bathroom. Immediate chaos ensues. Naturally, the passengers on the flight try storming the cockpit for answers. Yes, because the pilot has a large collection of naked people in there with him. What? Dad decompresses the plane's oxygen, forcing the rowdy passengers back to their seats to put on their oxygen masks. Not sure if that's the best idea, but it's an idea. Meanwhile, looting and dickish behavior have already taken over the mall. Dad tries to call in the emergency, but only gets static from every channel he tries. Chloe tries to get into the car, but it is crashed into by a small unmanned plane. Apparently God raptured all of the good luck in the world as well, but left behind film flubs. Later, this bus flips over the overpass in front of Chloe, despite the fact that since the actual event, she's had time to freak out, leave the mall, walk this distance before that happened. And when you look at the overpass it came from, nothing could have happened to make it fall at that moment. This is like the Truman Show version of the Rapture. God is timing everything for Chloe specifically to see it. The drug addict on the plane claims she knows what's going on. In 2014, how do you not know what this is? Dad tells everyone they are turning around and going back to JFK and should be there in about 3 hours.
Did you do the count?
I tried, but most of them aren't even sitting in their seats.
Then tell them to sit down! She does later, when another plane is coming at them. Dad tries to get out of the way, but the plane nicks their wing. Meanwhile, there is still chaos in the streets, and this guy holds a freaking gun on Chloe for just walking by. She goes to the hospital in search of Beauregard. Okay, how exactly do you think that's possible? He slipped out of his clothes and skipped naked to the hospital because reasons? Of course, Beauregard is not there, and neither are any of the babies in the maternity ward. This lady pops out like a zombie from Night of the Living Dead and tells Chloe that this is happening all over the world. All of the children and babies are gone. Buck tells Dad that the fuel is leaking out and that the spray is now on fire.
So what do?
We let it burn. See what's left.
Unless you want to crawl out onto the wing and plug up the hole with your head, Bucky boy, what else do you expect to do?
I was just thinking.
It's about bloody time somebody did.
What if they are still here?
Is invisible any crazier than vanished?
Let's not get into crazy versus not crazy right now. Chloe finally gets home to find the shower running and her mother's jewelry on the ground. Have you figured it out yet, ya nitwits? Dad goes through the co-pilot's clothing and wallet, where we discover that he kept a very fake-looking visa on him to tease pickpockets or something, and that his watch has John 3:16 printed on the face. The missing flight attendant has Bible study written in her calendar. So God only raptured people who had proof on their person somewhere that they were a Christian. Chloe hears a voicemail from her dad of the run-in with the unmanned plane and thinks her dad is now dead. A woman whose daughter went missing from first class thinks this is an elaborate plot orchestrated by her ex-husband to get their daughter. How exactly?
How about I just shoot you in the face?
Please do, he's kind of an annoying, poorly written character. Dad figures out that this is the Rapture. Dun dun dun!
You've never spoken about God before. Where's this coming from?
My wife.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, she's probably gone now too. In true Thief in the Night fashion, Chloe goes to their local church and finds their pastor is still there because he knew the Bible but never actually believed it. As is the case with many people who actually read the Bible.
Irene knew this was coming. In in detail, the way it happened. Even the way that the clothes were still there. Perfect detail.
And where is that Bible verse exactly? Oh, here it is. Not actually in the Bible, chapter 16, verse 35. When people get raptured, their clothes will be left behind. Depending on the film version, those clothes might even be neatly folded. Okay, go on. Dad finally gets a hold of someone at JFK who tells him that this happened to the whole planet, and because of that, all of the airports in New York are packed. He does not have enough fuel to go farther inland, so what is a boy to do? If only Sully were here. Tom Hanks would improve this viewing experience. Much better. Continue.
JFK Tower, this is Pancon 257. I have a low fuel emergency. I need a runway.
Break for more pointless character development.
I need you to try and find Chloe for me.
Chloe is, by the way, climbing up a bridge suspension to jump off when her phone rings. I feel like it would be a hell of a lot windier up there, but whatever.
I love you more than anything in the world.
Well, yeah, now that Mom and Beauregard are gone, is that really much of a compliment now? Chloe is not only strong enough to lift a motorbike, but apparently knows how to drive it.
Please pay close attention to our flight crew.
All one of them.
And if you believe in prayer,
Then you should have thought of that before all this happened. Chloe, or should I say the stunt driver pretending to be Chloe, drives the bike to a road under construction. Chloe calls Buck while she drives a truck through all of the barriers and porta-johns to clear the road as a runway. If you think that's a bit nonsensical, wait till she starts driving the steamroller. At least they're portraying the Muslim as a caring person, even though he's a filthy sinner for praying to the wrong god. They need something bright like a flare to guide them to the runway, so Chloe pours gasoline over all of the equipment and sets it all on fire. By the way, doing the dramatic dropping the lighter over the gasoline trail starting at your feet is not recommended by, well, anyone. The plane lands hard but safely just before hitting a gas tanker. Thankfully, everyone waited until the fasten seatbelt sign was turned off before attempting to leave their seats and exit the plane.
Patty,
Remember, I'm single now.
I should never have left.
Well, then we wouldn't have had any movie whatsoever. Ooh, good point. Apparently, Chloe set the entirety of New York City on fire.
Looks like the end of the world.
I'm afraid this is just the beginning.
Oh no, does that mean a sequel? So the leads all join hands and look on as yet another cover of that song, The Scourge of My Existence, plays in the closing credits. As to why this film is in the dumpster, well, cinematically, a majority of the film is just plot filler with unremarkable cinematography and middle-of-the-road acting. The problem with a lot of Christian propaganda films, besides the fact that they are propaganda, is that they are so dependent on their message that basic film writing and making practices are just thrown out the window. The only important portion in Chloe's story is the plane landing. Everything else is just events saying, see how much it sucks when a large number of people suddenly vanish into thin air, and only serves to pad the movie out to an agonizing hour and 50 minutes. If the authors or screenwriters had any insight into human behavior, there could have been some interesting moments depicting different reactions to this phenomenon, but no! What else might have made the movie more interesting is if they kept most of the action on the plane. People disappear. What the hell's going on? Is this the Twilight Zone? Are aliens a potential answer in this universe? Then, once they regain contact with the outside world, the plot twist could be revealed that this did not just happen on the plane, it happened all over the world, and it took Dad's wife and son. His daughter, meanwhile, is in danger from all of the looting lunatics. The lunatics, if you will. So then there could be more suspense built up with Dad trying desperately to get back to his daughter and protect her from a world of chaos. Rarely is more Nicolas Cage the answer to improving your film, but this time it might be. Now that may have helped keep the suspense up, but only for people who are not terribly familiar with the concept of the Christian rapture. And there aren't many people who aren't anymore. Anyone who lived through the 90s and early 2000s, at least in America, surely remembers the craze when, according to most churches, the rapture was about to happen at any second. There was even a widespread rumor at the time that all airlines required that at least one non-Christian pilot be on every flight in case the rapture happened. As well as that concept worked out for this movie plot, the rumor was, of course, not at all true. In order to effectively enforce that, you have to know what the official requirements to be raptured are. Does the Muslim guy count or not? Muslims believe in God and follow the rules of his religion. Just so happens they call him by a different name and have a different book of rules for him. What about the woman with obvious mental issues? Is she in any capacity to accurately make a decision about whether God is real or not? Our own court system even recognizes that you cannot be held entirely responsible for a crime if you're not of sound mind. Why wouldn't God? What is the age of accountability, as Christians call it, for children to be automatically taken up to heaven in the rapture? What about Jews who believe in God but not that Jesus was the Son of God? Christians can't even decide if there actually is going to be a rapture. The verses in the Bible cited as being about this event are tentative at best. That's assuming any part of the Bible is true, but that's an entirely different can of worms. My point is, this movie is trying to be suspenseful about the cause of the disappearances, which doesn't work because practically everyone with access to this film has heard of the rapture, and then the action surrounding it is not realistic or insightful in any way. It doesn't tell us anything we don't already know, and it does it in a lazy manner. But the good news is there will probably not be a sequel to this film. A fundraiser for the sequel was launched on Indiegogo, but because this first film was received so poorly, the campaign didn't even reach 20% of his $500,000 goal. That's awkward. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend watching this one, I don't think. It's hardly in the so bad it's good category. If you really want something like that in a rapture film, there are plenty of others out there. And I've even reviewed a few of those, so you should just check out those reviews instead. Yeah. The title of today's dumpster find, much like the last decade, is Left Behind.